It is Tech Talk time. Matthew Dickerson, how are you?
I am fantastic, right? Anytime I get to speak about technology with someone that's interested in it, which is you, then I'm pretty excited.
All right, let's talk about Tile now has QR labels for lost items.
This is a really interesting one. It's almost Tile's response to the threat made by AirTag, Apple's AirTag. Now, Tile have been around for a long time. I bought a bunch of tiles for my kids for Christmas many years ago. And Tile is a Bluetooth tracker. So you put that on your keys, or in the case of one of my kids, they put it in one of their teddy bears. If you lose your keys, lose your teddy bear, then you can go on your phone. And as if you're in Bluetooth range, or any other phone with a Tile app is in Bluetooth range, then you can find that device and you can play a sound on it as well. So you can look for that device. When you get really close to it, I still can't find it. I know it's in this room somewhere. Hit a button on your phone and that will make your Tile play a noise. When Apple brought out their AirTag, then that was a bit of a problem for for Tile, because the Tile relies on someone else using that app. But the AirTag came out, and so it then relied on anyone just having an iPhone or an iPad somewhere nearby. So they just smashed the market because they've got more devices. So Tile has now come out with something different. They've got QR label stickers. So it sounds like a great way to track a device. QR labels, everyone knows how to use a QR label, but really it's not a great response from Tile to try and combat the threat from AirTag. Because all it does is sticks a QR code on something and then relies on someone finding that and being honest enough to go, oh, gee, I found this, whatever it might be. I'll scan that QR code. That'll give me the contact details and a message from that person. I'll then contact them. So it's a bit like writing, this belongs to Rod, here's my phone number, on something, but doing it in a convenient way with a small sticker. So if you've got something small, maybe a school textbook, maybe a case of some earbuds, just something small like that, you can stick that sticker on there. They're too big to have something like a Tile tracker or an AirTag tracker on there, but the QR tag allows you to track those things. But the flaw in the system, Rod, is it relies on people's honesty. And I think we've been proven over history that maybe people aren't always that honest.
That is true. I didn't know where we were going when you said that you got the tiles for your children. I thought you may have been sticking them on the kids so you always knew what they were.
Maybe get a tattoo on the kids with the QR code on them.
Now, A1 voice filters, this very much interests me, can make you sound like anyone and make anyone sound like you.
Yeah.
This is very interesting.
It is. We might be out of a job soon. There are two tools. If you want to go have a play with these tools, there's one called KoeRecast, K-O-E Recast, and another one called Voice.ai. So go and search on either of those. And I had a bit of a play with them yesterday, and I just recorded a bit of me talking, 20 seconds of me talking. And then I had a variety of options to change my voice into a female voice, a male voice, someone that had an accented voice. I had about 10 different options there. And I clicked it and played it back, and I let my wife listen to it, and she had no idea it was me that said the original 20 seconds of voice. So it just sounded completely different, sound like a completely different person. That's pretty scary. So the old days of picking up the phone and playing a trick on your friend and putting a T-shirt over the microphone to say, hey, you just won the lotto, don't worry about that anymore. You're just going to have someone else say it in a different voice altogether. They'd have no way of picking up that it was you. Not that I am encouraging people to go and play tricks on their friends, but I'm sure people will do it in that way. The other thing you can do is if you've got enough footage of someone, enough audio footage of someone, then you can actually train it to get to the point where you can put any voice into it and it will sound like that person. So if you've got Barack Obama, Tom Cruise, I don't know, Darth Vader, whoever you want it to be, record enough footage there and then play it and it will sound like them. Unfortunately, I suspect some people will use this for the wrong reasons. It sounds like it could be good fun and you play around with it, showing off wonderful AI technology, but I can just see people using this for the wrong reasons.
I can see me wanting to use it for radio production.
That's right. You could do an interview with yourself. You could have your voice and someone else's voice and do an interview where you could have all the questions and answered predetermined before you even start the interview.
Looking forward to getting my hands on that. Now, BMW shows off game-changing new electric car tech.
They believe, and I'm not convinced it's the answer, but they believe the solution to the world being taken over by EVs is to hit cars with that magical 1,000-kilometre mark. And I think there's other reasons that people may not be buying cars at the moment, but the 1,000-kilometre mark sounds pretty good. One solution, of course, is to stick just bigger batteries in a car. That'll do it easily, just the same as you could put bigger petrol tanks on a car. But BMW say that they've got a car now, they're driving it around Europe to demonstrate it, that's got new batteries, and those batteries can deliver 30% more range than current batteries, and they're 20% lighter. So that's fantastic. Less weight in the car, that means less mass you've got to move around, that's a good thing. And then 30% more range, that sounds like a good thing as well. They believe that if you can start producing cars with 1,000 kilometres of range, all this range anxiety that people have got will suddenly disappear and the market will be flooded with electric vehicles. At the moment, the two longest range electric cars are the Lucid Air Cream, 836 kilometres, and the Tesla Model S, 650 kilometres. Now, I had a Tesla Model S, I've since sold it, but it had that great range, but the number of times I used that full range was probably never. When you're driving somewhere, you probably should stop every couple of hours and just have a bit of a break. And when you do that, you tend to stop at a charging point and charge up to top up the charge to keep going. But again, some people do have that idea in their head. They want to jump in the car in Burke and they want to drive to Melbourne, for example. I need that big range of my car. So that's one thing. The other thing they're doing with these cars is at the moment, one of the problems with BMWs is that their charging rate is only able to accept a 200 kilowatt charger. These batteries are going to be able to accept 350 kilowatts. Other people, other manufacturers have got those 350 kilowatt chargers now. BMW doesn't. But again, BMW is really focusing on the battery technology. They believe that's where they'll win the electric vehicle argument.
Right. Now, let's go better sleep, less stress is the new must-have gadget.
It may well be. You see various massage devices. You can sit in a chair and be massaged, or put a massage device on a part of your body, your leg or your arm, and sit there and let it massage. This is the first one that I've seen that massages your head, your face, your eyes, your temples to try and put you to sleep. When I looked at this particular device, it just looks like a eye mask that's fairly large. So it sticks out a bit larger than a normal eye mask. But you put it on straight away, that's a bit relaxing, just having something covering your eyes up. But then it just slowly massages and warms just around the eye sockets, around the forehead. And the idea is that it helps you relax, helps you sleep, helps you focus. And they're being used by sports people before a big match where they can just get in this relaxed Zen state. And then it changes its program to then really get you alert and get you ready to go. So it switches mode, the tempo picks up, and it gets all excited, and that's meant to get you ready to go and play that particular match you're playing. What it does do, which I think is quite interesting, is that it actually monitors your heart rate in that initial relaxation state, and it just has a pulse that's just ever so slightly below your natural heart rate, which is trying to slow down your heart rate to get you in that more relaxed state. And then obviously when the tempo picks up, that gets you ready to go. Sounds interesting. Don't know there's a lot of science to back up the fact that this is all going to get you ready to play a sport or to get you relaxed and ready to go off to sleep. But the manufacturers of this say it definitely does that. I don't know if there's a vested interest there, Rod.
There probably is. Now, why do 20-somethings have closed captions turned on?
That's a really good question. It's something that's happening more and more. And in a recent survey, they found that Gen Z respondents, so people aged 18 to 25, 70% of those people in that category, that age category, preferred to watch their shows with subtitles turned on. When they went up to millennials, so people under the age of 41, then 53% of those people said they preferred to watch with subtitles. When you go over the age, so people that are older than 41, then only 33% of those people watched with subtitles. So it very much is a young person thing. And I've actually found this with my kids. When I've been watching a show recently, they grab the remote and they turn subtitles on. What are you doing? We're watching an English-speaking show, and we're English speaking, we can listen to what they're doing. We don't have hearing problems, so we should be okay. And the kids tell me all sorts of reasons about it helping them understand things, and maybe they're a bit muffled when they talk, or maybe someone's got an accent they're talking, or maybe they just want to pick up the dialogue quicker, or they might want to multitask. They might want to play on their phone while they're watching a TV show. And then I found myself watching it, and then I've actually become a bit accustomed to it as well. So it does actually help with your understanding. What it does do is it detracts from the acting ability. And one thing I found particularly interesting was when there was a dramatic pause, for effect, for example, you didn't pick up on those nuances or those acting because you're just reading the subtitles, you're reading the script, you're going ahead almost before it actually happens on screen. Again, one of the things that really hit home to me was we went to the movies, a good old-fashioned picture theatre with our kids recently. We got in there and the first thing the kids said was, oh no, there's no subtitles here. What am I going to do? So it is interesting, but those younger people are watching more and more shows, and Netflix actually said that when you compare 2017 to today, so in the last 5 years, the number of their shows that are watching with subtitles have doubled. So people are definitely watching more and more with subtitles.
Yes, I find myself doing it with subtitles, but I wish it wasn't like a constant font. I would like to be like a watermark so it didn't disrupt the actual picture, because sometimes you miss some of the action when they've got the writing on the screen.
Yeah, you're right. And I actually think we'll see this develop as more and more people are doing it, which obviously is happening. I think you'll get those subtitles a bit better. And I'd actually prefer the words to come on the screen as the actor was speaking the words, because if you've watched it, you know what I'm talking about. It'll pop up on screen and then you know the next dramatic bit of information that's going to come, or a joke or a little funny bit, but you've read it, and then when the person says it, it's kind of lost a bit of its effect.
Now, we're talking about English. Let's go to the number one topic of the week. Queen Elizabeth II. Her flight carrying coffin was the most tracked plane in history.
Almost triple the number of people that watched the previously most watched plane in history. When Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan, she was followed by 2.2 million people. Her flight was followed by 2.2 million people on Flight Radar 24. When the Queen's coffin was taken from Edinburgh to Northolt, they had 6 million people trying to follow the plane. It couldn't handle it. The actual site, the app itself, had 600,000 people initially start tracking it. It ramped up very quickly and 6 million people tried, but it couldn't actually handle all those number of people. So only about 4.8 million people managed to watch it for that journey. Before that, it was obviously a lot of people trying to track it. So the most watched plane flight in history. I don't know when something else is going to happen that's going to get anywhere near that, but quite fascinating the number of people who want to watch things like the Queen's flight.
Yes, a lot of people have been very interested in that. I've been interested talking with you today, and I hope we can do it next week.
We'll track everything that we're saying, probably not on a flight, but on the airwaves.
You have yourself a good week.
Thank you, Rod.